Hi, everybody, and
Hey everyone.
welcome to this week's Pulse, Microsoft Pulse. We're here with Adam, Tom, and myself, Tamara. Jen is away meeting clients' needs, and we're going to go over the Microsoft roadmap, and we're going to go over it in 4 parts. That'll be in development. That'll be what Microsoft is currently working on to roll out to. Then it will go into rolling out. These will be features that are coming into your environment and then launched, meaning they should already be in your environment. And then we have a couple canceled this week. So Tom and I also have bronchitis after coming back from our 3-week honeymoon. So that's a treat. So let's go ahead and start with Adam. Adam, why don't you kick us off today?
Yeah, so there's a absolute ton of stuff in development. For seeing some of the threadbare list we had at the end of last year, to open up this one was just kind of like, dang. I mean, just in development alone, there are over 50 items this week listed. So there's a lot. As we go through and look at all of the details of what they're going through and doing, there were several that hopped out to me. One that's super simple, but I thought was just absolutely amazing. For Outlook iOS, you can easily forward an email as an attachment to another email.
I thought
This
that
is
one was
something that,
interesting.
yeah, so specifically for IT troubleshooting, this is amazing. If you ever have an issue where a user is saying they're having a specific problem with a specific email, you need to get a copy of that message. The problem with how email works, the moment you forward that email on, it's a different message. It's no longer the original message that went through. You don't have the same diagnostic information, stuff like that. So it would always be a process of you trying to walk them through, all right, I need you to save that email as a file. And then once you have that saved as a file, as the correct file type, then you can email it to me is how you do it. The fact that this will be built in, like literally the first thing I thought of as someone who in another life had to do email support fairly often, this alone will make that job so much smoother. So when I saw that, I was just like, that's actually super cool and something that's nice. There's also just an absolute ton of updates around Defender, Defender for 365, a whole bunch of different stuff like that. Some of the ones I thought was kind of cool. So now if you have a allow block list, it will basically do a setting that doesn't necessarily just outright block the emails, but you can choose to filter those emails into basically an admin quarantine that you can go in and review. This gives you more diagnostic ability as an admin where you can not necessarily have to take such a heavy fisted approach to what you're going through and doing. If you're getting messages that, oh, well, maybe I don't want these users getting my messages, but Tom and business development says this is super essential that he gets this email. You have an ability to at least control it in a little bit more way. So happy to see that with some of the nuance that they're going through. The other thing I'll say that I also thought was kind of cool, if you're going through, one of the options you have with Defender for 365 is you can basically ask Microsoft to go in and scan messages for malicious content if you think something was there. That used to be an individual thing. So you go in and say, yes, I think this email might have something bad. Yes, I think this email might have something bad. Fine for most people, but if you have a large organization, you're probably doing that multiple times a day. So they changed it where you can now submit up to 100 of them at once. 99% of people will never take advantage of this, but the one guy who will is just thanking the heavens right now whenever he sees that update. So I'll stop there for now. I probably have more at the end if you guys want to come back to me, but I'll
Okay,
leave it open to you guys for other things if you'd like to talk about them.
great. Tom, why don't you go ahead and take it next?
As you know, I'm going to talk about all the Defender and Intune stuff.
Yep, yep.
So a couple things that came out that I find interesting. One is Microsoft Teams support apps in channel meetings. So what they're now allowing you to do, or they will be allowing you to do, is giving you the opportunity to add apps to particular meetings in Teams instead of just having it as part of your, Teams workspace and stuff. So if you wanted to, if you had an app out there that did X, Y, Z, normally you have it on your left sidebar for Teams. Well, now it sounds like you're going to be able to take that app, if it's applicable, and actually put it into your Teams meeting and use it within a particular Teams meeting. So I think that's good. I don't have any really, you know, awesome, hey, this is going to enable this to work so much better, because they don't give you a lot of examples here. But it's something that I think could end up working out really well for people in certain circumstances. Another thing that they're doing in Teams with approvals, they're now going to allow sequential approval support. So your requesters are now
That's
going to be able to,
huge.
yeah, your requesters are now going to be able to toggle on sequential approvals to designate the approval order of your requests. So instead of saying, okay, here's the 5 people who need to approve it, have at it. Now you can say, okay, my lead's going to approve it, which then means after that, my manager's going to approve it, and then the VP is going to approve it. So it actually follows the sequential thing. So it's going to get, canceled at a lower level, hopefully, and not have everybody looking at things and the boss, big boss is going, oh, looks fine to me. And somebody underneath is going, no, don't think so. So it's going to be a lot easier to have a consistent flow of approvals that makes sense in terms of how you would normally get things through an organization. The final one I just wanted to
We used
mention.
to do that for our clients using Power Apps in Teams or Power Automate in Teams,
Yeah.
which was
Power
nice
Automate.
because you could get it done. You could do sequential, but like if you were working with someone who never used Power Automate before and never done flows, like that
Yeah.
was a moderately big lift to try to go through and design a whole process. I can remember for one of our clients, we built out a business card approval process where someone could submit it and it had to first be approved by the user, then it had to be approved by the team lead, then it had to be approved by HR and stuff like that. But getting that up and running for an organization that hadn't used Power Automate before was not a small task.
Not easy.
So the fact that this is incorporated just out of the box now is super nice.
It's really
Sorry,
nice.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Tom.
good idea. No problem. The final one that I just wanted to mention, because I think it's really cool and I'm kind of looking forward to playing with it, is Microsoft Edge split screen, browse faster with side-by-side tabs. So normally when you go to click on a new tab in, Edge or whatever, you can say, hey, launch in a new tab, not a problem. Well, now what you're going to be able to do is you can access split screen by clicking the toolbar icon or selecting open link in split window, and it's going to put the 2 tabs side by side. So you get that split screen automatically. I think that's going to be really nice if you're trying to do comparisons side by side without you having to open this and then drag it over and get another browser instance and pull it over. And yeah, just click, boom, there it is. I'm thinking that's going to be slick. You should be seeing that in April, and that's Microsoft Edge worldwide. So everybody should get a shot at that one.
Great. And then Microsoft Teams zero touch app install. I'm a little freaked out about this. Microsoft Teams zero touch app install uses intelligent signals from your users to install and surface the apps that the admin has already allowed for the tenant. Now, an admin can enable it to help users naturally discover and use apps that are highly relevant to their needs within Microsoft Teams. This is coming out in May of 2023. I think with having so many apps available at people's disposal, this will really help them find the apps that are applicable to them. So, and I like that they are pre-approved by the admin. Then I think this will be the newest dance craze, breakout room participant shuffle. So meeting organizers can randomly reassign participants after initial room creation. That's coming out in June of 2023, and that's coming out to Teams GCC and worldwide, GCC High and DoD. I really am having a hard time finding the reason for this. Other than it's kind of cool. And then Yammer is rebranding dun, 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 to Viva Engage. So to provide a consistent and delightful experience, I'm not kidding you people, that's what's written. And delightful experience to our customers and users, Yammer across all its surfaces, web, mobile, and integrations, embed, SharePoint, and Outlook, will be rebranded to Viva Engage by late 2023. In the coming months, you can expect Yammer to become Viva Engage through the update of brand elements like the logo, app icon, and the name. So that's coming up right around the corner, and that is worldwide.
Yeah, there are also just an absolute ton of Viva updates on the roadmap. We didn't go into a
Yes.
ton of them. Some of them are Viva Engage, some of them's the broader umbrella that is Viva. But if you're interested in Viva and consuming it, probably worth taking a look at the roadmap this week, because there's a lot of updates there.
Hot.
I have one more that's not super nerdy, but I actually think is going to be super fun to play with.
Go for it.
They actually have where they're going to be adding favorites to OneDrive.
That was the other
This
one
is-
that I was going to bring up if you didn't.
Yeah, this is something that I think is actually super cool, and like 100% I can see the use here. What they basically say in the description is something that I think is very true, that not every file that's in your OneDrive is created equally, especially
Yes.
those of us that are in consultant style jobs or any sort of business repeating job. You probably have certain templates or certain files that you're revisiting maybe weekly, at the very least monthly. I know for me, I'm essentially responsible for putting together statements of work for anyone who's ultimately going to be consuming the team that I run at Planet. And so every time that there's a request for a customer that wants a new statement of work, I'm going and finding my template for the statement of work as my starting point and going and doing that. That is a perfect example of what Microsoft intends out of this feature. You'll basically be able to go in and favorite certain files, and then you'll have either a view that pulls that to the top or a separate tab you can look at. Basically an easy way to navigate to the files that you've gone through and favored in. And again, like, I actually see a use for this. I just think it's kind of cool. I already use the crap out of like the recent section in my OneDrive, or you can go through and look at that, or the shared with me. Both of those are things that didn't exist originally for OneDrive that were added that I find real value in. I see the same thing going to be the case here with this favorite unfavorite thing.
I agree.
Great. All right. Anyone have anything else in development that's burning a hole in your pocket?
I think we can roll on to rolling out.
Let's roll on to rolling out, and I'll start. Whiteboard loop components. So you can copy and paste loop components into your whiteboard to continue working collaboratively together and stay in sync across all your applications. That was supposed to roll out in January of 2023 to Whiteboard worldwide. Who else has something in rolling out that they'd like to talk about?
I only had one other thing highlighted, and I'm going to basically turn that one over to Adam because I want to hear his explanation on it.
Yeah, so I assume I know what Tom's doing. So this is actually great, because if you've worked at a company for the last 20 years, this has happened at some point, and it was hilarious. The message recall feature just does
Yay.
not work well with Exchange. Essentially, how it happens right now is you go in and you sent a message, you say, oh crap, I hadn't finished that message, I want to recall it. But how it works right now with Exchange, you send a message recall, that goes up to the Exchange server, and the Exchange server sends a message out to everyone who got your email that basically says, hey, can you please recall the message? Which then pops up a message on that person's email box that says, hey, so-and-so is wanting to recall the message. Are you okay with that? And you have to
I
give
think
them
I need to
approval.
read that one
Yes,
first.
so exactly what happens if any of you guys have ever experienced this and someone like accidentally sends out an email to all staff or something. They then like a minute later get that, and then everyone just ridiculously makes fun of them because everyone now knows that they messed up and they drew attention to it.
Yeah.
That's been the case with message recall since I've worked in Exchange the last 15 years. And it's always funny when it happens. Well, Microsoft says that they're going through and doing, and this is actually kind of cool. That was kind of needed with how email systems worked in the past, because the vast majority of the time you're going through and doing email, well, your own Exchange server sent out your messages, but whether or not that's going to just your coworkers or a whole bunch of other people, chances are you'd have a large percentage of those users that weren't internal to wherever that email system resided. Well, that's changed. Now that it's in Office 365, there's a good chance that all of your other internal users are going to be on 365, and there's a good chance a lot of the external users are potentially going to be as well. So they're basically rolling out a new message recall feature that if the users are on 365, rather than sending out a notice that asks for approval from the user on an individual client level, actually do the recall functions through the backend server of 365. So in the new scenario, what will happen, I send out an email that say, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have sent that. I go in and hit the recall button or say I want to recall it. That request will go up to the Office 365 server, and it will actually recall those messages from the individual's mail mailbox so that it can. And if they haven't logged on or they weren't there when they see it, they'll have no idea that that even took place, which is honestly probably how message recall should work in the first place if you're going to give people an undo button. So this is a good thing. There'll still be certain instances where, say, I send a message to 365 and it goes out to Google or something, where maybe it can't actually recall that message, but still the experience for the vast majority of what you do will be infinitely better. And again, if anyone that's listening to this has worked anywhere for the last 20 years, you've had someone send out a message they didn't want to try to recall, and just seeing the hilarity that ensues from this. So that's going to be a thing of the past. We're just as old people talk about the remember whens. So, you know.
We'll be sitting on our rocking chairs on the porch.
Yeah. Anyone have anything else for rolling out?
Nope, that's what I was going to talk about if he didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm
Let's
good.
talk about lunch. Tom, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and mention the one, which is mention everyone in chat. So this should be rolled out to everyone now, even though I checked it today and it's not in my tenant. But that is where normally you can do
Well,
an
it
app.
technically says February, so you still have to the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Technically speaking.
Okay, Eeyore.
Eeyore, I guess so, Tamra. So app mention, I can get her coffee now. So normally if you want to get somebody's attention in a chat, you do an app mention, because what that does is it basically pops their name up, and when you hit enter, it actually sends them a notification in Teams that says, hey, there's a message for you in this chat. Well, that's fine unless you've got like 8 people in your chat and you want everybody to know in the chat that you put something out there and you want to get their attention so they actually do something. That's like, how do I remember all 8 people? And it's a pain in the butt.
So
now
that
what you,
scenario is wonderful.
yes,
Great.
yeah.
You
So now
know
what
this
you,
is going to be done by
uh-huh,
Dave, and at mentioned 400 people in the company at once.
I'm in a large chat and it's like, hey, free puppies, you know, please contact me. But what you're going to be able to do when you do at, instead of getting a list of names, or in addition to getting a list of names, you're also going to see your option to at mention everyone, keyword everyone. And if you use that at everyone when you post that message, then basically everybody who is part of that chat is going to get the little pop-up notification that says, hey, there's a message in this chat that pertains to you because you were flagged. So again, in judicious use,
Limited
this is going to
context, it
be a
could be
cool
wonderful.
thing.
Yes.
Exactly. But you know, some people are going to abuse it. Yeah.
This will be the same people who hit the Meet Now button.
There's that one, or the people who say, I'm going to do a post in this particular channel and I'm going to cross post it to 15 other channels that have nothing to do with the fact,
What's wrong with that?
because I really want everybody to attend my garage sale this weekend.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
So yeah, it's
Hey, the
got
fact that there is a
side
puppy in the
purviews.
lobby is a very important and time-sensitive message that I need to see, Tom.
Unless you're all working remote, then it's just frustrating.
Yeah, then it's just
Yeah.
depressing. Someone
it
better
says-
take a video.
It's especially
Or it didn't
depressing for her
happen.
because she doesn't get to go pet the puppy, which is her big
Exactly.
thing. So
Exactly.
That is
yeah,
my thing.
I get that one.
yes.
I'm done with mine. Feel free to carry on, the
Okay.
two of you.
Microsoft Teams magnifying slide in PowerPoint Live. So allow meeting attendees to privately magnify the slide to allow presenters to magnify the slides for all meeting attendees. I think that's great, especially with how small, depending on how big a screen, like I have a 34-inch monitor. And when I share my screen and somebody has just a laptop screen, I got to imagine that the font is like 0.2 font.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be nice in order to magnify that. So I think that's going to be a great piece of functionality that should be rolled out by the end of February.
And I like the fact it allows you both to privately magnify it for yourself and allow presenters to do the magnification for everybody. So if I want to bring your attention to one little piece,
Yeah.
I can easily do that. So good
All right,
change.
Adam, what do you have in launched?
Nothing for me. Would you like me to cover canceled, since both of you guys are on the verge of death throats?
Cough,
Yeah, that sounds great. Go for it.
Yeah, so there's a surprising number of canceled. We actually have 5 items canceled this week. First item is Microsoft Teams support for breakout rooms for Teams rooms on Android. This is being republished at a later date, so don't worry about it too much. Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, additional third-party data connectors. General availability for this feature is delayed indefinitely, so don't know if this one will be coming back or not. This is probably a very small share of people that were super concerned about this because this is third-party data connectors. If you're wanting to pull stuff into the compliance portal, which would be like if you had some sort of system that could help manage compliance and you were wanting to incorporate it in with your system. Most of those third-party tools, because this is the area I live in, aren't typically designed to integrate with compliance portal anyways. So normally they try to kind of sell themselves and market themselves as a complete solution on its own. Doesn't surprise me that that was canceled. Microsoft Viva topics in your briefing email. Again, this item was postponed indefinitely. So just know that right now that's going away. Praise highlights for Microsoft Viva and profile card and Teams for Outlook. Again, this item is being postponed indefinitely as well. And then finally, Outlook attestation add-in. It's also being delayed indefinitely. So several things got the chopping block as Microsoft is going through and working into the new year, which is a little surprising. It's rare that we have more than one canceled, let alone 5, but where we stand.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us this week. Join us next week for what's new on the roadmap and how it can affect you. We'll be sure to discuss it and let you know our personal takes on it.
And we
So
promise
thanks so
not to
much.
disappear for another 4 weeks.
And promise not to disappear for another 4 weeks.
We had vacation and holidays to do and, delicious food to eat. So it's
Tom and I
important
were on a
stuff.
honeymoon.
Yes,
Yes.
they were.
So, all right. Well, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye
Bye
Bye.
now.